President Gunhee of the Hunters Association told me that the country is not currently governed by the government, but by hunters who protect citizens from monsters. These hunters are subordinate to the Hunters Associations. He said that if I joined his association, I could stand shoulder to shoulder with them. At that moment, I considered his suggestion and realized he was talking about giving me authority. I asked him why he was offering me this. The president started talking to me and asked if I knew the 5 main guilds in this country. The balance of the country is currently maintained by 5 pillars: the Hunters, White Tiger, Reaper, and the Knights. However, if I join any of these guilds, the balance will break, and the country will descend into chaos. The law and the ordinary government power system are not strong enough to keep the hunters under control. That's why a Hunters Association is needed, and they don't just fight monsters. There are also monsters among them. Finally, the president waited to see what my decision would be. I wondered, after all, it wasn't a bad proposal for me, and anyone who supported the president would be on the path to success. The National Assembly, government associations, and the media would support the idea. It is hard to find an area where the president does not have influence. This president has been incredible, and so have his skills. Although I have been improving all the time, our skill strength is now roughly equal, and such an opportunity doesn't come often. Moreover, the Hunters Association is the 6th and only force that is different from the rest. It is necessary in this country. I noticed that Gunhee doesn't have much time and needs a successor to inherit his position. I decided to approach and apologize to him after all, and at that moment, the president realized what I was about to say. The president was wrong after all. He thought it was all about the money in the end, but I told him with determination and confidence that I wanted to fight, and an expression of surprise immediately appeared on the president's face. He asked if I meant that I wanted to fight monsters. I replied yes. After all, the dungeons managed by the association are of E or D rank, and the other guilds are not interested in them. If I join the association, I won't be able to improve further. I can keep growing until I stop, and I believe my place is in a dungeon. It is the only place where I can feel stronger. The president was surprised by what I said and looked me straight in the eyes. He realized I was telling the truth. Not everyone can see what a hunter really wants. The nostalgic president placed a hand on his heart and realized he couldn't remember when he had felt something like that inside him. He was surprised his heart could still beat like that, and if he were only 20 years or even 10 years younger, it would be different. In the end, I told the president that I had my sister alone at home and needed to return to her. In response, I heard the man thank me for my time. As I left the room, I told Jinchul that his intuition had not failed him because I was not the one who took care of the monsters in the double dungeon. But after these words, Jinchul wondered who defeated them. As soon as I left, the president started telling Jinchul that when healers and cleansing magic began to appear, he thought he could regain his youth and say goodbye to that tired body. That was what he believed, but he was wrong. And not even advanced healing magic can return his younger years. Each of the 5 main guilds is increasing in strength at this moment, and their fighting power is already equal to that of an entire country. The moment the association loses its influence, they will become an uncontrollable weapon. But his subordinate told him that the man who runs the association is himself, the president. However, the president believed that the association was necessary for it to last and prosper. It was a useless thought, however, because hunters must stay in the dungeons. Finally, the president asked Jinchul to cancel all his meetings, but his assistant started to say that he still had a meeting with the ministers. The president didn't want to ruin his mood by meeting those bureaucrats and offered his protege a drink, but his assistant said he wasn't good with alcohol. The president looked out the window and thought that I was able to give him those pleasant sensations that he hadn't experienced in a long time, and wondered how much alcohol I could drink. Dong-su, unconscious and delirious, was raving about his fight with my father. Rocks were flying from the impact of a massive blow that made him bleed, and my father's furious gaze as he slapped Dong-su across the face woke him from the shock. He found himself lying in a hospital bed, His whole body was bandaged and injured. He thought it was a dream, but as soon as he saw his wounded body and felt the pain, he realized it was real and not a dream. Suddenly, he heard someone knocking at his door and started asking what they wanted from a loser, referring to himself. He said if they had something to say, they needed to hurry up and leave. It was the deputy director, who wanted to ask him something directly. The deputy director began asking questions about my father. He wants to know if my father really was a monster, but Dong-su started saying if the deputy director was implying he had attacked a human being. The deputy director began showing him the video taken that day, noting he had never seen monsters trying to help humans. After watching the video, Dong-su still thought he was a monster. Dong-su responded by asking if he had heard of a person emerging from a portal. After these words, the deputy director hesitated, and Dong-su insisted he was definitely a monster, and there was no doubt about it. After this conversation, the deputy director began to get dressed and said he understood everything. He asked Dong-su to visit the office when he had fully recovered, as there were several documents to fill out. However, Dong-su asked what had happened to that man. The deputy director replied that they were still tracking him after the fight, but he didn't believe they could catch the one who hit him. Dong-su thought it was a humiliating defeat for him. He began to recall my father telling him never to bother coming to Korea again, not for his son's sake, but for his own good. After all, even after dying, he couldn't rest in peace. But Dong-su still had his opinion. After all, no one could threaten him, and he knew where that monster was headed. To catch him, he would need equipment. By calling the guild, he could obtain artifacts to make himself much stronger. Once fully healed, he would decide to destroy him.